Hello everyone. So on Friday I went to see Wonder Woman, and of course, like most people, I absolutely loved it. What a film. I was sitting there thinking to myself, I can't believe how amazingly perfect they've got this movie. The making of the movie by Patty Jenkins is absolutely spot on. The directing choices, the tone of the film is just brilliant. It's funny, it's has a little bit of tragedy, it's got a great mix. This is probably one in my top three origin movies of all time. The other two are Batman Begins and Man of Steel. I know a lot of people won't agree with me, but I think Wonder Woman is leaps and bounds above any Marvel Studios origin film. I really believe that. It's so good, it's so on point, and what a change from a year ago where everyone was split about Batman v Superman. Some of us loved it, aka me, I was part of that, and some people hated it. And it was very difficult, and DC got a lot of flack. So in comes Geoff Johns to take over. He makes a lot of big decisions, starts to clear out the Snyders, starts to clear out Nolan and the people that they've brought on board. I know that Zack Snyder is credited to have come up with some of the story of this film, but that would have been a little bit beforehand. This is really Geoff Johns' baby. He worked really closely with Patty, and you can tell. Alan Heinberg, brilliant. He was involved in the writing of this film, and the score, I tell you, this is the best score since John Williams' score of Superman the movie. It's that good. I mean, I can't stop playing it. So absolutely fantastic. Chris Pine, sensational. And let me just kind of give you an example of how on point this film is when Steve Trevor asks the Amazons, how comes you can speak English? And they say, well, we can speak all the languages. I think it's brilliant because this isn't kind of, normally when an alien comes to Earth, not obviously Dinah's not an alien, but normally when these kind of things are dealt with, they're not dealt very well. The characters have got strong American accents and it doesn't really work. But this is really good, and the genius of it is that all the Amazons have an accent because Gal's got an accent naturally. I think that's what the genius of it all is. Also, the other actresses playing the Amazons, you really believe they could kick the living crap out of you. They're not sexualized, which is very rare for a Hollywood film. So it's such a strong film. It's made so much money and it's got so much plaudits, and it deserves to be. Now, does this mean is everything in the DC garden rosy? Of course not. There cannot be any complacency here. Listen, I'm a massive DCU fan. I'm a massive DC fan. I'm loving this, that everyone's loving it and saying nice things about DC all of a sudden. But it doesn't mean automatically that Justice League will get the same plaudits. Justice League's big problem is Zack Snyder, because many people in the geek culture do not like him. Personally, I do. Personally, I think he makes great movies. He's a maestro. But a lot of people don't want him making these films. But we already know that Joss Whedon's kind of come in to do a couple of reshoots and edit it, because the official line is because Zack's daughter killed herself, which is very tragic, of course. He can't be working on it. He needs to spend time with his young family. So I just think it was a bit odd because obviously, the girl killed herself 2 months ago. He came back to work. Then all of a sudden he's kind of taken a step back. For me personally, I think that this is just part of the clear out that Geoff Johns is doing. Wouldn't surprise me if Joss Whedon directs, I was going to say Avengers, but that's no chance there. But Justice League 2. But this film is absolutely beautiful because Wonder Woman has this humanity, which is brilliant. That's what's so good about it. Sorry about that. I had an ant crawling on my arm, but yeah, Wonder Woman has got so much humanity. The problem is, I find with a lot of female characters, the way they're written, especially in Hollywood movies, because they want to make them tough, they make them unlikable in the end, and you just can't watch them. So that's the problem with that as far as I'm concerned. But this She's totally got humanity. She's got compassion. She doesn't want to hurt people, but if she has to, you know. And when she sees the children and the families being hurt, and she climbs up from the trench, that is a brilliant scene. And they're calling it the no man's land scene. It really is good, and that aspect of it, I really, really, really enjoyed it. And just so many things I love about this. So much heart. It's not all about the action. It's about the heart. The love story between Diana and Steve Trevor is on point. You want them to be together. I'm going to get into spoiler territory now, so please switch off if you don't want to watch it. But I think Steve Trevor's sacrifice at the end is brilliant. Now, one of the reviews says, back off Steve Trevor, why is he the hero of this film? Why isn't Diana? Well, she is the hero. Ultimately, she defeats Ares. Steve Trevor doesn't do that, and she does a lot of fighting when she tells Steve Trevor to wait in the corner. So she is the hero of this film, but that doesn't mean Steve Trevor can't be a hero as well. That's what Steve Trevor is. He's a hero. You can't reduce a role to make another role bigger. That's not how it works, but she is a hero. Gal Gadot is just so good. You look in her eyes and you believe she's this hero, that she's this, really nice person who wants to help. I thought it was a really brilliant film. And as soon as we arrive in Themyscira, is it how they pronounce it? I'm tearing up. I'm emotional. People are saying next to me, we've waited 40 years for this, or however long, but so emotional. It's so, as I say, so on point, and everything just fits into place perfectly. Because, and what, again, spoiler territory, there are no DC crossover characters in this film because you don't need them. And this, again, is kind of word up for DC because you've got Marvel. Every film has got to be a crossover. Well, DC don't have to do that. This film was so strong with its principal character. You didn't need to have another hero. You saw the name Wayne Enterprises, and that's it. I thought we were going to see Batman in this. I thought we were going to see Bruce Wayne, because we knew from the start that the first scene was literally just a few months or weeks after what happened in Batman v Superman. So very, very interesting that there were no cameos in this film. And it's just the whole thing, the supporting characters, so good, so strong, really interested in their characters as the film goes along. And literally, the woman who plays Diana's mother, wow, brilliant. And then you've got her aunt who's training her. And actually, I was, again, spoiler territory, I was so surprised that they killed her off, because I thought maybe she could recur in the other films. But they did kill her off. Obviously, this is a superhero film. Anything's possible. But it was really good. And the reveal of Diana finding out that she's a god killer, and Ares took great pleasure in telling her that, I thought Ares was brilliant. People complaining that the kind of villain that he was, but listen, that's Ares. What else are you going to do with him? Not every villain can be the Joker out of The Dark Knight. This was fine. This wasn't really about the villain. This was about Diana's journey in the outside world and finding her place in the world. That's what this film was about. But I thought the villain was great, and there was no need to make him bigger or or more part of things than they did. This film for me is a 10 out of 10 film. I really enjoyed it. I'll be watching it quite a few times. Already pre-ordered it off Amazon, but it's brilliant. Can't wait for Justice League now. Fantastic.